I'll tell you a funny story. I was in a grocery store one time and I was with my girlfriend at the time. This was in my hometown in North Carolina. And there's this guy who looks probably 16 or 17. He's working as the cashier, and I'm with my girlfriend at the time. And he's looking over at me, and this guy is just staring at me from the cashier, like literally like 40 yards away. This guy's just
Oh
looking
no.
over at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it didn't hit me when I was there. And then I checked out like a couple of rows down, so I never talked to him or anything. I get into my car and I was like, I think that guy knows me. And I'm like, there's no way he's like a school friend or something because he's younger. He's
Right.
like 5 years younger than me, or at that point, maybe 4 years younger, something. And so I check my DMs, and sure enough, he's like, bro, I just saw you in the grocery store. I'm a huge fan of your videos. Like the guy that works at Food Lion watches my videos in this random city in North Carolina. So I DM the guy, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. So then uh, did I run back? No, I was going to run back in and say hi to him, but he was busy and working. So it's like, okay, well, let's get lunch sometime after. So then I got lunch with the guy.
Oh,
And
nice.
so we got lunch. That was cool. He didn't pay any tip, though, when we got lunch. And I was like,
Oh.
that's going to be a no for me, dog. So I had to like double
Oh.
tip to compensate because I was just looking over. You know, it's sometimes I look and I gauge how good of a person somebody is based upon how they tip. And I do I peek over and I see, all right, what are they working with here? Are they tipping or are they fucking being little schleisters? And I
Yeah.
look over and this dude legit writes a little dash where it says tip and just writes the total. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Now, yes, the guy was 16. Maybe he was like in destitute poverty and just wanted to meet a YouTuber that he watched. Who knows? But anyway, I covered the tip for him. It wasn't that big of a deal.
And then
But
you made a video about it, and you were like, "This guy is a
this guy
bastard." You
fucking
just doxed him.
sucks.
He works here. I'm just saying. And then you went like the weirdly like terroristic YouTuber route that some people do, where it's like, "I'm not saying you should do this, but like what I'm saying is, if someone burned down his house and where he works, I think it'd be funny. That's all I'm saying. You know, like I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying there's a cash reward, link in comments, link in bio. I'm just saying I think it'd be funny."
Oh man, yeah, this YouTube drama gets out of hand, like with the boogie thing. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
You
gosh,
guys are
showing up at
fucking
his
me.
house with a gun? Yeah, no
Well, he shot a
thanks.
gun
You
in
know,
the air. Boogie
oh, oh, yeah. Oh
shot in
yeah,
the
that's
air.
right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. As a warning shot. You know, the thing is, like, good on you for getting lunch with that guy. I would be terrified to do it because
Why?
I'm very skeptical. I would feel like someone was gonna follow me home after.
Oh
Like,
no, he was just a normal, like
I'm sure he
normal
was.
16-year-old kid. I mean, I do understand that though, and there have been instances where I've dealt with people that are. I've not really dealt with anyone that was a stalker. I mean, one time in my comments, somebody like dropped the name of my family and our address, like our home address. And that really freaked me out because, like I said, like my sister has disabilities. So, like, in terms of getting swatted, I'm not fucking cool with my shit getting swatted.
Right.
Um, because you've got these fucking, I mean, I don't mean to sound like rude or anything, but these like cops who are miserably undertrained with assault rifles busting your
And
door down
overworked.
in your house that are gonna fucking like who knows what they're gonna do, you know? So
Yeah, yeah. These guys
that
too.
freaked
Like
me out. Yeah.
I have a friend. He works like 15-hour shifts, sometimes 20-hour for the police. Yeah, and like if they get called in, like they're tired. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
not giving them an excuse, but yeah, you don't want to put yourself in that position. I get that. I mean, one time a kid that I had taught in high school like found my channel and was like, I didn't really threaten to like say who I was, but like almost kind of did. And I was like, I mean, you can, but like I don't know what the point is. And then he dropped it. You know, it was weird, but the thing with that too is can you say the word GUN now in the algorithm, or should I just say that?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, well, so I am, without getting like too political or weird here, I am a GUN owner. Like I inherited quite a few actually from my dad because he was like a trap shooter and pretty damn good at it, especially you know, like he did that like as a sport type thing. Anyway, so like, you know, hand GUNs, stuff like that. I've inherited them and people know about that. So like for example, like swatting, sure, that could happen to me 100%. But like I don't think anyone's stupid enough to come to my house. You know what I mean? Because it's like for
Right.
me, yes, it's Minnesota. Like they would probably side against me. But like if I'm put in a position where I feel like my mother or my wife could die, I'm gonna kill a home intruder. And like I
Yeah,
have the
of
means to
course.
do that, and I know how to do it, and I would do it. and people know that I would do it. And I've said that a few times. So like I don't really get threatened with that. I'm sure I could get like doxxed or swatted or whatever, but you can also take care of that too. You can also call like the local police and say like, hey, listen, like someone threatened me with this, or like I live here. If you get a call about this, like just please have this on file. You can do that stuff too. It's really easy to do. I've talked to local police before with that kind of thing. So, I
Yeah,
mean, there
you
are.
always want to give them a heads up that, hey, I have a YouTube channel. If you get a phone call that I've like murdered my wife and my 17 children and I'm like drinking their blood in the living room and I have a fucking bomb, and if you like if you get that call, it's probably not real, but just call me and I could tell you that it's not real. And I've had a couple people be like, bro, that's so stupid. Like, they're going to think you're suspicious. And it's like, no, you're just giving them a heads up that, like, this is a thing with swatting because law enforcement, for whatever reason, can't catch swatters very often. I mean, the only documented instance that I know of where somebody has been prosecuted for swatting was that fucking moron that got somebody killed from it. And even then, I mean, in a certain sense, I mean, it's the police officer's fault. He shot someone who was unarmed. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't have happened if he had not swatted the guy. But the reality of it is, like, there's no accountability unless somebody gets hurt. But if nobody gets hurt and the SWAT like busts down your door and points assault rifles at you and you don't get shot, we don't know where he came from. He hit his number. But of course, if somebody dies, then all of a sudden, like, the FBI can find it. And of course they can. And they need to actually be punishing swatting, because swatting, let's say it for what it is. In most areas where you live, swatting is attempted murder. That's what swatting is. Swatting is you're telling the police that somebody has been murdered and they're going to kill the police if they show up. And that is when you're telling people with assault rifles that you're going to kill them at this address, that is attempted murder. And it needs to be treated as that. But it only is if somebody gets hurt. But that's an asinine system. It needs to be punishable for what it is. It's no different than if I call and say that somebody's doing something that they're not, and they get hurt as a result of that. I mean, it should be very illegal, but they don't catch it for whatever reason.
Imagine if you pointed at someone in an airport and said he has a gun.
Yeah.
Imagine if you like screamed that, like terrified, and then they drew on that guy and he pulled out his phone and they killed him.
Exactly.
That's on you. That's on you just as much, I think, as it is on them. It is starting to be prosecuted. Like, I agree with you. There's not like a lot of documented cases for it, but the feds are actually mobilizing task forces. They've talked about this more like in the last year to start catching people, even if there's not deaths.
Oh, really?
In the U.S. Good. Yeah. Like, I don't know to what extent, but I think they were trying to scare people away from doing it by sharing that public information, like that they are taking it more seriously because of it. Mainly, the sad thing is, I think the justification was not even the deaths. It was like the waste of police time and like potential risk to officers and others and stuff like that. I get it, but like it almost seemed like in the justification that was more important versus like the deaths and stuff, which is kind of yikes to me. But whatever to get them doing it. I know in Europe it's starting to be like pushed like as like a punishable offense too. Somebody I thought got like almost life in prison for it. Like, I think it might be the guy you're talking about, but that dude who died, it was either that one or a different one. That guy got, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was 20 to 40 years. I mean, like, it's most of his life gone because he did something so dumb, and got someone killed. And yeah, it's attempted murder. You're trying to get the police to kill the guy. There's no other reason to do it. There's none. Because you could do other scary things. Like, let's say their address, not to give people ideas, but you make like a fake thing that looks like it would go boom. You know what I mean? Like, that's a messed up prank, right? But you're not trying to get people with guns to show up and kill the person. You're just trying to scare the hell out of them. You can't do that with swatting. You're just going to get someone killed. I agree. I mean, I'm not saying either is a good thing, but I'm saying there are ways to scare people without doing that that are also psychopathic, but people don't die during them. So I don't know. People are insane, man. That's why that stuff worries me. Like, I don't even talk about like my last name really on my channel. If someone figures it out, cool, good for them. Here's a cookie, but it's not really something that I think is relevant. I've said it before, like I would defend myself if somebody showed up at my house or something like that. And, You know, if you see me in public and want to talk, cool. I'm not a mean guy. I just value my family's safety. You know, that's
Right.
all.